I know that sigh. And you're like, I don't want to keep doing the B&B. I already know it.
I don't. The B&B was never my dream.
You know, it just made sense.
It just made sense.
Yeah.
Having the house was my dream.
So you got that dream. What's your next dream?
Oh, I don't know. I need to find a man.
A dream man.
A dream.
Oh, you brought tongs? You're so smart. I know. You got mom skills.
All moms do.
Not all moms. It takes a lot of learning. Me and Brianna are fortunate to have the two of you. We've been like mom school apprentices.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Every once in a while, the sister wives, daughters of Kody and Robyn don't look like zombies and actually look human. And lately, the last season or so, they've been used for content because Robyn has no friends. I mean, who am I to talk? I don't really have any friends either. But if I had a show that I had been on for like 15 years, I would guess I would have like people that were hanging on, right? Hanger-oners that wanted to be a part of my life just because of who I am. But I guess when you're Robyn, you don't even have people that are hanger-oners because you're not loyal to anyone but your husband, Kody, who's a jerk. But Kody and Robyn were at Coyote Pass, and their content for the season has been so boring. Let's just put it out there. They have nothing to talk about. They don't want to actually show the truth about their relationship. They want us to believe that things with their relationship are so hard and so difficult, but yet everything that we see of the two of them, for the most part, is them not being hard or difficult. It's either like a fake staged conversation where Kody pretends to be mad and then Robyn fake cries, and then they talk about Janelle not wanting to be with Kody, and then she pretends like she forgot that Kody doesn't want to be with Janelle and Janelle doesn't want to be with Kody, and she forgets that Mary left Kody and got a release from the church. Or else it is like this, where they pretend like they're the perfect couple and that they have everything so invested together and they have this perfect harmony. And this week they all were at Coyote Pass, and it felt really gross to me because they're basically using other people's parcels, other people's property, and enjoying it when they shouldn't be. They should be selling it. And during that, they had their daughters, Aurora and Brianna, there, and Kody had the kids there for work purposes. First, they painted these picnic tables, which why would you paint a picnic table? I would have just put a stain on it because those are going to be outside. They are going to be under the weather, and they were not painted before. They were just a picnic table with a stain. But now they've painted them this really ugly blue color, and Kody used the kids for labor for that. But during this awkward conversation after the paint dried, they go to roast hot dogs because I swear that's the only thing they ever make when they're at Coyote Pass. I've never seen them actually have a barbecue where they have eaten anything but hot dogs at Coyote Pass. And then I don't know if you like hot dogs. I don't, but that just doesn't sound that great to me. Either way, Kody and the girls start talking about kids. And of course, he's probing them about their uteruses and how many kids they want to have. Yeah. Before they get to that conversation, the fact that Robyn brought tongs to a fire pit while they're cooking food was apparently mom skills. And then Robyn had to use her superiority complex to say that not everyone has mom skills, which I don't know who she's talking about. I think it's a jab at one of her sister wives. But then they start talking about the daughters and their uteruses, okay? And how many kids the daughters want to have in their uteruses.
It takes a lot of learning. Me and Brianna are fortunate to have the two of you. So we've been like mom school apprentices.
Does it ever make you wish not want to have kids?
Makes me want to be smart about how many kids I have.
We start talking to girls kind of about relationships, and all of a sudden it's all about kids. Do you guys actually want to have kids?
Did you hear the part where Aurora said that she actually already has mom skills because she learned how to be a mom because of Ariella and Solomon, but then she refers to herself as a mom apprentice? And then Kody's automatic response is, does that make you not want to have kids? Because the fill in the blank is because you raised these kids for us. Okay, to be clear, in every single one of these families, the oldest daughters have had a ton of responsibility on them. And there were a lot of kids, and Kody was very rarely ever around. And the women were working or busy or crying because of the jealousy or dealing with their own trauma, that a lot of the child rearing and taking care of the kids fell on the kids. And I've heard it come out of the mouths of the oldest daughters. Aspen has said it. McKelty has said it. Madison has said it. Madison has said it. Madison said that when she was 6 years old, she was helping her mom with her younger siblings, and that it was because her mom and dad had split up, and that it was her responsibility to help Logan. And that was something that she never wanted to put on her own kids. Okay. And then Robyn joins the family, right? She has 3 kids of her own. And while she was married to Preston Jessup, she always had babysitters and was very rarely taking care of her own children. Then she moves into the Brown family and almost immediately moves in her sister and then her niece to be a nanny. And then also, when the nannies aren't there, relies on her daughter, Aurora, who's like 9 years old, to take care of her baby. And then when Solomon is older and she has Ariella, it again falls onto Aurora and Brianna to take care of the kids. And then Robyn, meanwhile, is in a bedroom doing it with Kody and locked in a bedroom, and the kids are like, "Mom, Dad, where are you?" And they can't go into the room, right? I mean, that's what Aurora's cousin, Preston's niece, told me, that when they were younger, Mom and Dad would just lock the door and go into their bedroom for like the entire day, and that they couldn't knock on the door, and that it was basically the kids' responsibility to take care of Solomon and Ariella. And then Cody's immediate reaction is like, "Okay, does that make you not want to have kids?" Right? And then she says, "No, it makes me want to be smart about the number of kids that I have." And then Cody's like, "I don't know how it got onto the conversation about kids. You brought it up, dude."
I mean, I've never asked you about that.
Absolutely, I do.
And having a big family has never turned you off of that idea?
Having a huge family is sort of turning me off of the idea of having like a big family. But like to what a stereotypical normal sized monogamous family is, I would want like a big family, 3 to 5 kids. So that's considered big for like a lot of monogamous families.
Kody planted that question, and he did that intentionally, I think, because last season, Robyn said that the entire experience with the family made them not want to have kids. Christine said that this happened during the text thread, that this whole fight broke out. And then Robyn's kids, or Robyn, says that the entire experience with this big family made them not want to have their own kids, and that they ruined family for them. But Aurora says, no, it didn't ruin the idea of having a family. I mean, I don't want to have a super big family, like meaning I don't want to be a polygamist. So who's planting these ideas in these kids? That's a leading question to ask a child. And why would you, when you're talking to your kids, if you ask a question in that way, you're almost telling the child in a way like, well, doesn't having a big family like this make you not want to have a big family? Like if there's a child that wants to please the parent, they would automatically say yes, and then they would be sowing seeds of doubt in that child, and that child would be like, well, wait a minute, should I not want to have kids because this went so wrong? It's like putting a negative thought into that child's head. So a lot of these things that Robyn says that her kids feel about the other family, I have a very hard time believing they came up with it themselves. I think it's the family, the parents, leading these thoughts into their heads. And Kody is such a manipulator, and Robyn is such a manipulator that, who I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, yes, kids that grow up in large families like Jana Duggar, who had 19 siblings, and Jana Duggar had to raise all of those kids with her help of the other sisters, she might not want to have a lot of kids. But Aurora was in the responsibility of Solomon and Ariella. It's not like the unit that Kody and Robyn came from was enormous. It was 5 total kids. 5 kids is a lot for the average monogamous couple. I'm a mother of one. and that's enough for me. So the idea of having 5 would be a lot. But it didn't stop Robyn from having kids and continuing to have kids when she couldn't even manage what she had, and then she brought on more kids, and she couldn't manage those, and then she started working and crying about the fact that she couldn't care for her kids. This is the problem with this culture, and let me tell you why. The only reason women have any value in polygamy is because their job, especially the women that come in as plural wives, they're called concubines in Doctrine and Covenants 132, which was one of the last ones written by Joseph Smith before he died. It was after he got caught being a polygamist and hid it from everyone. And then suddenly he developed this whole lie that you had to have X amount of wives to get into heaven. And then his only purpose for women were to give children to the kingdom. That's the only purpose of a plural wife. They call them concubines in the Doctrine and Covenants. So when you hear me say that, I'm not trying to be rude. That's what they're called. And if you talk to people that leave this culture, they will often talk about the women as concubines. I can't even tell you how many people that have left the AUB that are like, yeah, my husband's concubine. So please don't get mad at me when I say it. That's what they use in there. And so the concubine, quote unquote, their only purpose is to bring in children. So if that's what you're told you have to do, even if you don't want to have kids, imagine what kind of dynamic that would create. If you are a person like Robyn, who clearly lacks maternal instincts and doesn't have the capacity or care or concern to want to care for her kids on her own, that kind of pressure, it's going to lead to child neglect. It's going to lead to your kids raising your children. It's going to lead to your kids having way too much responsibility on them when they're children. My son is 12. And mind you, he has autism, so it's a completely different view. But I would never expect my son, if I had another child, to help me with my kid. It's my job as a parent to raise my own children. It is not my responsibility as a parent to put adult responsibilities on a child. I went through that as a child. I became the farmed out babysitter to all of my mom's friends. My mom thought I loved it. And I mean, I liked making money because I didn't get a whole lot of money in allowance, but I spent time at my aunt's in the summers and helped with their kids. I was like a mom apprentice in the family, babysat my cousins, babysat my mom's friends' kids. And when I look back at my childhood and I think of how young I was doing that, it's like, I can't even imagine doing that to my son. So it's just to put adult responsibilities on kids is I'm not a fan of it. But then they're trying to flip it, and instead of taking responsibility for them forcing their kids to take and do their work for them, then they're saying, well, didn't having a big family ruin it for you? No, Kody, your lack of parenting and Robyn's lack of parenting would be what ruins it for them, not that you had a big family. The child neglect and the abuse would be why they might not want to, not because of having a big family.
How about you, Brianna? You like the idea of having kids?
I do. I just don't want to have more than like 4.
It's really cool to see your kids grow up enough to start really thinking independently.
I don't want to bash on polygamy.
You won't hurt my feelings.
People who decide that, I just don't think it works.
I feel like a lot of this that's happening in this conversation is to try to rebrand Kody and Robyn as though they are progressive thinkers and they want their kids to think for themselves. Because I don't know where you've been, but I've been watching the show for all of these years. And the last thing that Kody has wanted is for his kids to think for themselves. Because when Janelle's kids thought for themselves and had opinions for themselves, Kody didn't support it. Remember? He didn't support the boys living with Janelle. He didn't support them working and going to college because they wanted to go to college and they had to work as adults during the pandemic, right? Like Kody has rules for some kids that he doesn't have for others. And he's willing to be open and responsive to Robyn's kids, but he has closed the door to the other kids. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. And then I wonder, what does this do to the children that he does have with these other women? And then they see how he treats them and the special treatment that they get. And then you wonder why there's such a division in this family. Because Kody's applying rules to Christine's kids and to Janelle's kids that he's not applying to them. He's not demanding the same things of Aurora and Brianna and Dayton that he demands of everyone else to fall in line. He's letting them have their own thoughts and want to do their own things. I mean, he threw out kids that wanted to have their own thoughts and do their own things before, but now it's okay. It's just so hypocritical. And then after all of these years of Kody trying to convince us that polygamy was good and rational and great, and it was beautiful, and this is what everyone wanted, and God was ordained. Now he's okay with his daughter being a flat out apostate and saying that she doesn't think that anyone should practice polygamy, which is ironic because when Christine went full apostate, and that's where she's at. Christine is a full apostate at this point. When Christine went full apostate and said that polygamy doesn't work, Kody mocked her and said that she lost her religion and that's why she's acting this way, and that she's ungrateful and that she's so happy that she's getting out of polygamy. She's so happy she's getting her freedom. But then when Brianna says that it's nobody should practice polygamy and live polygamy, he's like, yeah, that won't offend me if you say that. So if you are liked by Kody, he doesn't care what you say. If you are not liked by Kody, anything you say is offensive. And this is what this family has gone through, the haves and the have-nots. Because when Maddie was like that, when she was saying those things about polygamy, they put so much pressure on Maddie. Robyn told Maddie that she couldn't think about not practicing polygamy because of her frontal lobe. And her frontal lobe wasn't developed. And she needed to wait to choose her own religion until her frontal lobe was developed when she was 25. But Robyn's kids now, who their frontal lobes still aren't developed, Robyn, are able to choose their own religion. And Kody and Robyn are like, okay with it. It just feels like they were trying to put rules onto these other kids and control them, but then they weren't going to do it in their own house. And that's why I think these kids outside of Robyn and Kody's don't appreciate Kody and Robyn because they're hypocrites. And it's like, it's disgusting. And this happens all the time in polygamy, by the way. It's sad.
Your parent to child ratio with a husband would be 2-to-1. Our family, 5 parents, 18 kids, our ratio was 3.5 to 1. As your mom,
3.5 kids is by yourself is a lot.
I love how Kody pretends like the family ratio was always that way when it really wasn't. When they didn't all live in one house, the ratio was not 3.5 to 1. The ratio would have been the women in charge of all of their kids. And then when Kody showed up every 3rd or 4th day, that's what the ratio is. Because once they moved to Vegas and they're all in separate houses and they're all raising their own kids, Christine, it's 6 to 1. Janelle, it's 6 to 1. Robyn, it's 5 to 2. Mary, it's 1 to 1. So it wasn't like he said. And when Christine did stay home and they all lived together, Janelle had to go out and work. So Janelle wasn't there to help during the day because she had to work to support the family. So Christine had 12 kids by herself. That's a lot of responsibility on Christine. So for Robyn to sit there and go, oh God, 3.5 kids by yourself is a lot. Robyn never had to do what Christine had to do. Can you imagine if Robyn would have had to be Christine? She is so neglectful. This proved to me she's neglectful. This episode will prove to me that Kody is a neglectful father and their daughters accidentally exposed them for being neglectful parents and their lies. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.